But it's so much fun right now watching Max do this because he, for much of the season he didn't have the car. Clearly the car's better. Yuki Tsunoda went up, 6-7 positions today?
Yes.
And so clearly they have the car back in the game. I still think Max is probably out driving the car, with air quotes, as they say.
Yeah.
In other words, getting every possible millisecond out of the car. But
well, and we talked about this at last week's race. He's also fully alert to everything that's happening on the track, who's going faster, who's going slower, who's got what time on their tires, and he's listening to his own car and able to suggest to his engineer what they should do, and taking advantage of all that information and using it to pull away.
Yeah, and what I love is the control of management of the race itself. He got the gap up to down to about 6.1 seconds, and we started to say, is this a chance for Leclerc on the medium tires, and are they going off? And Verstappen radioed in. There was talk from Norris about his tires going off. Then his engineers, i.e. Verstappen's engineers, said, how are you holding up? And he suddenly we didn't hear the reply, but within a few laps he was back up to 7.3 seconds and clearly controlling the race.
I wonder if that was a coded message.
Yeah, I wondered
when he said the tires are getting tricky. That might have meant to Giampiero Lambiase, his engineer, we're in great shape here, boys.
Yeah,
let's just keep going.
Yeah,
the alternate strategy message as well.
Yeah.
We don't know what all that stuff means. I love that kind of stuff, that clandestine, gamesmanship, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Exactly
Cloak and dagger guy you are.
Yeah.
I guess we can talk about it. We actually, your play-by-play guys went out. Apparently, there's some technical difficulties back at the studio, and it went out on the North American broadcast for a few minutes till they got some things going. So that was fun. Bob didn't even know that. He just his eyebrows.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so that was pretty fun. And hopefully Chris Medland will be joining us shortly with his microphone.
He's headed out there, and looking forward to talking to all folks, I'm sure.
I had to laugh when I saw Chris Medland's kit.
It's tiny.
It's a phone and a microphone.
Yeah.
James Vowles loves that. He always gives us a hard time about the big production that Chris walks in with an iPhone with a microphone plugged into it.
It works.
And it goes across to North America with it. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, guys, the race itself, look, I've got some good stats for us here about different movers. We had, by the way, anybody know the biggest mover of the race?
Give me a
No.
Somebody who...
Stroll.
That's it.
Boom.
Very good, Mr. Green. Yeah, Lance Stroll, 7 positions he gained, and next best was...
you know why?
Was Tsunoda.
Yeah, you know why? He started on the soft and went long on the soft, and that allowed him to move up while everybody else was pitting.
This is so Lance Stroll. Every time he has a bad thing happen, he had some this week.
He took somebody out yesterday.
You want to write him off.
Exactly. When you want to write him off, he does something like this, and it's not the first time. He's done it over and over. It's like, is he doing just enough to do what he has to do? Well, anyway, what else, Jonathan? This race was the setting was awesome.
Yeah, I have to say my takeaway from this, obviously after the Verstappen moment, or the Verstappen comeback, as it were, and brilliant weekend here in Austin, that's the first point, but so too Ferrari. Leclerc on the radio on the slowdown lap kind of summed it up. Good recovery, guys, because they were nowhere on Friday after the free practice.
Just to inject something, we're looking out the window.
Oh, yeah, it's track invasion.
Right, and didn't the racetrack have a pretty hefty fine to pay last year for a track invasion after the race?
It was, and in fact, even Tim Mayer and a few others had to get involved.
Yeah, what is that rule, Bob?
Well, the idea is to keep spectators off the track. Back in the early 90s, say, when Nigel Mansell won his championship, the racetrack at Silverstone was literally inundated with people, and the cars hadn't finished. They hadn't come off the track. And so, the fans were chasing Nigel around and ripping pieces off of his Williams, and it got very crazy.
Yeah.
And occasionally somebody gets hurt.
Jonathan has opened up the blinds to the booth here where we can see it better, and the crowd is pouring in from every direction.
Heading
it looks
to the
like.
podium.
Oh, yeah,
heading
they
to-
want to see the podium, and you can't blame them. But you're right. I think they had to pay a $100,000 fine last year.
They'll gladly write that check to have
right.
the photo op that it created last year.
Well, and I noticed the cameraman, the regular, if you like, Formula One cameramen are perched right by our booth to get that shot, which is sideways, looking up the hill and looking at this vast group of humanity heading towards the podium to celebrate with the winners.
And you're right. Tim Mayer went to bat for the racetrack.
Yes, he did.
And I don't remember what the outcome was. I think maybe they split it, 50 grand and another 50 grand in abeyance until it happens again. Well,
It's happened again.
12 months later, here we
12
are.
months, here it is. This is so great.
You could probably get that back from the burgers.
Yeah. Yeah, I think no problem at all there with the size of the crowd this weekend. I haven't heard any numbers, but we were expecting around 450,000. I really wanted it to be 451,000 so we could round it up to nearly 500,000 people.
I think it will be 450.
I think it will be too, just based on what we've seen, the traffic and everything else trying to get into the racetrack, both Fridays, even Thursday. When we came out here, it was a little bit traffic, and I was like, what is going on? And then, because that's not everybody allowed in on Thursday. So
It is amazing. When we started doing Formula One, 100,000 was a really good crowd.
Oh, yeah. The first year at Indianapolis, we had, I think it was about 125,000, and Formula One officials were just agog. They're just not used to that kind of thing.
yeah, and I don't know what race day numbers typically I think are between 150 and 170, something along that. I'd love to hear the stats after today.
Well, recently, I guess the podium ceremony.
Yeah, we can hear the crowd lighting up out there.
I was giving a lecture on Formula One.
An Austrian national anthem.
Okay, we might be able to get the podiums here. I'm just checking with the feed here. We'll come back and just check and see if there's interviews are popping in there. So,
And in my lecture, I was talking about the enormous growth of Formula One, and I was quoting crowd sizes. Of course, COTA led, but there were a couple of other races that were over 300,000. So,
well, Silverstone, I think, holds the record now, if I'm not mistaken. I think they beat COTA in 2024.
Would surprise me, yeah. It's again, like COTA, it's very spread out. A lot of camping, a lot of RVs.
Yeah.
It does. And in terms of a really fully fledged British fan, it's their summer holiday.
Sure. Yeah. And the track surroundings are pretty much like this: green and lush.
Yeah, green and lush. Where did you see that? It must have been some AstroTurf, because there's no green in Austin right now. We haven't had rain except for the drizzle.
Yeah, it was the Austin Botanical
we have
Gardens, I think.
Except for Jonathan, that's the only green we've got around here. That was good. I like that.
Now, Formula One just continues its explosive growth, and it'll be interesting to see what Apple wants to do with it now they've acquired the rights.
All right. Well, it sounds like Mr. Medland is joining us, and I'm actually checking to see what's going on out on the booth.
He's here to come tell us how wrong we are again.
Chris Medland,
yeah, you're all wrong. You're all wrong.
Oh, Chris, where are you, buddy?
I'm right in the middle of the paddock. I've just made my way down to Mercedes at this point. I'm doing one of my usual wanders where you just see, is anyone hanging around yet before they leave? Any discussions being had, and who might want to talk, as Gabriel Bortoletto scoots past me. Not a great day for him, so I won't get in his way. In fact, the way his weekend's gone, I just hope he makes it safely down the paddock on that scooter. I saw Nico Hulkenberg going into the TV pen looking pretty happy. Might get a word with him, because he got a bit of a tough rap, didn't he, yesterday for the sprint, but he's performed well all weekend and picked up some points.
Yes, very good. Yeah, good weekend.
I think he was, Nico Hulkenberg was wrongly accused of causing that very costly.
Well, Brown has been in the press, kind of U-turning, put it that way, was the headline. Brown U-turns on amateur driver line.
That's a classic racing response. Well, I'll have to see the video.
Yes.
All right, guys.
Good on him for that, in a sense, though, wasn't it? He was clearly fired up at the moment when he gave his first comments, and he could have continued to blame someone else and not look at his own team's potential failings. But he changed his tune pretty quickly on Saturday, so I wonder what mood he'll be in today, though. I can spot him, so maybe I'll grab him for after the break.
All right. Well, I was actually listening in to see to hear the podium, but they're still just playing music at the moment.
Chris, what's your reaction to the crowd activities out there? It was an issue last year when they had a track invasion, and it looks like they've got another one this year.
And Chris, we just got about 30 seconds. We got to take a quick break.
The invasion's fine. The invasion isn't a problem. It was about the timing of it. They got onto the track too early in the past.
Okay.
And they weren't. Yeah. The gate shouldn't have been open for them to get on. Now, as long as they're being let on at the right time, controlled, not a problem at all.
Excellent.
Okay, well, I thought we were going to take a break here real quick, but we got about 30 more seconds. Jonathan, you got 25 seconds.
Yeah, I want to mention Yuki Tsunoda because I think it was a very important weekend. It started as a disaster. It's ended better with points in that Red Bull, which he's been struggling with all along. And I think you could argue that as Red Bull have come forward, it's helped Max, but it also may cement Yuki's position.
All right, we're going to pause for station identification and be back right after this.
Looks like a weapon.
All right, we're on YouTube. Oh, this is a full 2 minute. Okay, all right, YouTubers. Let's check in and see what's happening with you guys. Let me find a tab that's got YouTube going. Let's see. All right, that's the pre-race. Hold on, caller. Hold on, YouTubers. The internet is not cooperating.
What are you wanting it to do?
I'm just wanting it to let me look at YouTube.
Oh,
wow. It's like crashing for me. I'm sorry, YouTubers. I can't even communicate with you.
Is that because of the volume of people trying to access?
Yes, absolutely. What is happening is the crowd invasion, right? Everybody's down there, and everybody's got their. They're probably live streaming, probably about half of them.
Yeah, no kidding.
They're going FaceTime to everybody's.
Is that as far as it goes?
Yeah, I think so. No, yeah, I think so. No, wait, there's one more little step in it. Jonathan Green is playing with his tripod. Wait a minute, that doesn't sound good. He's playing with the tripod, trying to make it work.
He wants to get his union card.
Chris, are you there?
I am here. I am loud and clear. I can hear everything.
Okay.
See everything.
We're still on YouTube, so I was just checking in.
Sorry.
No problem.
30 seconds live, Greenie. All right, all the podium stuff is done. I'll keep this in my ear just in case something else pops up.
Oh, they did the interviews already?
I guess so.
Yeah, they did that before the podium.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Which they had to be pretty quick.
Standing by. Here we go. All right, gearheads, welcome to Speed City F1. We're live at Circuit of the Americas, your post-race show after Max Verstappen put on another show for a weekend here and won the Grand Prix, won the sprint race, and has just looked fantastic all weekend. This is Jon Massengale with Bob, Varsha, Jonathan Green, and Chris Medland, who was out with his microphone live. And we are basking in the glow of a fantastic weekend and the basking in the glow of the sunshine coming in the booth right now. Jonathan Green, I'll start with you. Just help me summarize this weekend because it's been fantastic.
It was a weekend that McLaren came in after a rotten Singapore race where they clipped each other on the first lap. And it led to a Russell win, or partly of that doing, Russell was able to gain advantage. It also was a weekend that we thought that McLaren would bounce back. They did not, because in the sprint race, they took each other out completely. No points scored on a sprint weekend where they literally had an hour of free practice. Conditions weather-wise changed throughout the weekend. It stayed sunny, but the wind picked up dramatically and changed directions on different days. McLaren really struggling going into the Grand Prix, and they really just couldn't get on level terms with Max Verstappen, who totally dominated the weekend. Pole sprint race win, pole Grand Prix win. It was a sensational weekend for a Red Bull Oracle team.
I want to check in with Chris Medland and see what's going on. Where are you, Chris? You in the paddock with your microphone?
I am in the paddock with my microphone. I'm hovering by the TV pen, actually. We're going to get a word with Nico Hülkenberg in a little bit for a top 8 performance today. So I've lined him up. Across the seat on Behrman right now with a cool vest on, cooling down. A lot of drivers, actually, ice towels around their necks. It's clearly been a hot one for them out there because we didn't get much respite, did we? Only that one VSC period.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, how did you hear about the performance of the cool vest? There was some question about how well they were working this weekend.
Well, I heard that for Kimi Antonelli, it didn't work very well, actually, during yesterday's running.
It was working backwards.
Yeah, well, they don't make them in kid sizes.
Well, yeah, I guess that other than that, you haven't heard anything else because I hadn't either. But I know that that the vest was the problem with it is that it was actually heating him up instead of cooling him down. So, yeah.
He had complained previously when the teams first started using them that his would only last effectively 15 minutes.
What's that, Chris?
Yeah, he's got ice on right now. He's got one of those vests with blocks of ice on it that he's put on afterwards. He's gone for that approach, which a lot of drivers have done, actually. I think I've seen Alex Albon wearing something similar as well. That's normal. But I did see quite a few wearing the vest itself pre-race, walking down the grid. I think Nico Hülkenberg was one of them, actually, when I was walking on the grid earlier doing interviews. So some used it, some didn't. But as we've said, it's not mandatory right now. You just still have to carry the whole equipment so that you don't get a weight advantage. But next year, it will become mandatory. So any issues, they're going to still have to iron out.
Yeah, and Bob, let you talk about your summary of the race and the weekend. Anything else you want?
Well, I think the headline, as Jonathan was saying, will be McLaren needed to come in and have a relatively spotless weekend to cure the ills that plagued them at Singapore, and actually since the second half of the season began, after the summer break. And as Jonathan said, they didn't do it. They couldn't stay off of each other. Granted, it was an accident. There was decisions made that did not work out, and the result was 2 McLarens out of the race. I keep thinking about that interview we did with Gunther Steiner this weekend. And he said, I understand fully they won the Constructors' Championship in brilliant fashion, and now they want to complete the sweep with the Drivers' Championship. But this business of trying to organize the way the drivers run on track is impossible. These are athletic, ambitious animals, these racing drivers, and they are going to want to take that position, even if it's from their own teammate. And I think he makes a lot of sense in terms of having been there and done it, and, not that Haas has yet been confronted.
Sorry, Bob, I'm always going to
problem.
cut you off today, I know, but I've got Nico
Go for
Hülkenberg
it.
with me. 8th place today, Nico, and after yesterday where it looked so promising before the sprint, and then maybe you got some unfair criticism for what happened at the start, how good does it feel to get those points on the board?
Well, that was just temporary criticism. I think, Zach corrected that very swiftly and, very fair. But, it's racing, emotions run high, so, I'm not mad at anything or him. But yeah, obviously, sweet end, 4 points is, good for us, and kind of, bounce back because I feel like it's been a while. It's been too long since I've been in the points. So happy about that. But obviously yesterday was a big shame because, I think this could have been double points this weekend.
Was it just this track suiting the car, do you think, or did you unlock something and just have a clean weekend this weekend?
I don't know. We'll see in a few days, but the car definitely felt locked in and in a happy place from the first lap, really. And, that's not always the case for us. So it was quite nice to have it for once. But yeah, I'm not sure it will be like that now everywhere. I think it's a little track specific, like it always is. But yeah, we'll keep working and we'll keep pushing.
Well, just finally, you're live across North America. I know a good result always helps, but how much do you enjoy? You're always live.
Holy moly! No,
Don't swear, please.
should have said that at the beginning.
Yeah, I know. Well, I like to keep you calm, but I know the pressure gets you sometimes. But how much do you like racing here in Austin in front of this huge crowd and certainly getting a top 8 result?
Oh, I love it. It's really bloody awesome. You know, the driver parade, the atmosphere, the people, the town. It's truly one of my favorites. You know, Austin never disappoints. I also love the anthem and then, you know, the cavalry. You know, the helis was a goosebump moment for me, certainly. So, yeah, enjoyed it a lot and look forward to ready to come back next year.
Great stuff. Well done, Nico. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris, nice job. Even Nico Hulkenberg, how long has he been in the sport?
246 starts as of today.
Even he changed a little tone when you told him live across North America.
I think he was winding me up a little bit. But I think he was making the point. But I'm not sure, because he also dropped in a bloody, didn't he, on that last answer, just to make the point as well when I said don't swear.
Yeah. Just FYI, we are live on local radio in Austin, Texas, as well as ESPN. So, hey, Chris, I want to ask you something, because Nico, I saw he finished 8th, but it's weird. I'm looking at the results. Oh, sorry, that's not the right page. But yeah, so Nico finished 8th today. Nice run for him. And Bob, you were making a point when Chris interrupted you. I don't remember where you were in that thought process. I have no idea if you do.
Well, accepting the award for journalism. The basic point was, I think McLaren did themselves more damage than they had in previous races, even, because they came in, they knew what they had to do, they didn't do it, frankly. They were able to advance a little bit during the race, but not much. Got a car on the podium. But clearly, they are not the juggernaut of a team that they were beginning or ending the first half of last season.
So, well, I was just going to say that the numbers that everybody wants to hear right now are the Drivers' Championship standings. And with the change, with Max Verstappen narrowing the gap, Oscar Piastri still leads the championship. It doesn't feel like it right now, does it? But he still leads the championship with 346 points, followed by Lando Norris, 332, so just 14 back. And then Max Verstappen,
26.
He has 306, so he's 40 points back. So,
but 26 behind Norris.
26 behind Norris.
Yeah, sorry.
Behind Norris.
I'm already jumping to the championship. He's 40 points behind.
I'm with you on that. That 40 points.
Yeah,
who would have seen that
right.
coming after Zandvoort when I think it was 103, 104?
Yeah.
Chris, I got to give you all the credit. At that point, I think we were doing Wheel to Wheel, the show Wheel to Wheel, and you were. I was saying, oh, this is pretty much wrapped up. Mathematically, Max has a chance, and since that moment, Max has just been chipping away, more than chipping, chunking away at the lead that Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris have. So, Chris, you called it, buddy. You said this is not over, and you're absolutely right.
Was that an imperial chunk or a metric chunk?
Both. Chunks in both.
Yeah, they've done remarkable things at Red Bull, but you expect at the cutting edge.
Well, we're still looking at the crowd. The invasion is just stunning. Chris, I know you're in the paddock, but we've got a bird's eye. We're right on top of the crowd, maybe 100 feet from them, right here on the front straight.
Yeah, you're very close right there, aren't you? And I can tell.
Yeah,
and
Jonathan, can you see how far down towards turn one?
Well, the thing is, what happens is they come from both sides, so you get the hill coming down the hill and piling in towards the podium. The main grandstand is almost empty, except for those looking for a perch of the podium. And the crowd goes all the way back down to turn 20, where they're just milling about. But most people are stuck or stopped at literally pit entry.
But I tell you what, it's not quite packed from turn 1 to turn 20, but it's not far off of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how many people are right in front of us.
I'm just counting cars that aren't going to be going out before me.
Yeah, exactly. We might as well settle in here, boys, and see how.
Absolutely.
Because we're not getting out of here anytime soon. Let me just look at some the standings here, the race finish, and see what else that we haven't talked about because let's see here. Race results. So we got, I mean, look, I talked about it briefly before you guys came on, but what a day for Ferrari.
Yeah,
finishing 3 and 4.
Yes.
Yep. And they're now 5 and 6 in the championship.
I was about to say, that's got me chasing a potential chat with Fred Vasseur, seeing if we can get a word with him, because he didn't want to talk yesterday, did he? But they had a good day yesterday, and they backed it up today. And I wonder how he's feeling after that one, because that was a much improved performance from Ferrari.
And the boss of Ferrari giving him a good bill of health in terms of rumours of Horner, etc. That's also been a good weekend for Vasseur and his future.
Yeah. You know, we talked about Ollie Behrman, and he had that little off track and was talking about Yuki Tsunoda moving under braking. What was your take on that little maneuver?
Yeah, I do think that Tsunoda did. I mean, you could see it as clear as day that he did jink to the left as they turned in to 15, or the beginning of 15, which is effectively a double apex. And Behrman had to sit up, if you will, as they say in motorcycle racing, but and then take to the inside and go to the dirt, and therefore he spun himself out of the race for a second, got it going again. But I'm with Behrman on this one. He did move across it.
Yeah. And Chris, we were talking about the new floor. Is it Chris that Haas have? Yeah, I think I was in the on Friday. I was in the free practice. I was in the garage with Jay Leno in the Haas garage at Box Tick, and at that point, Behrman didn't have the new floor for FP1, but I guess he did for the rest of the weekend. So they were on even par from Saturday on. But another one I want to ask you about, Jonathan, was Leclerc and Norris may battle for that second position for a long time.
Yeah, it was a good battle. It was a very good battle.
Yeah, and Norris even made a mistake trying to pass him, but once he got around Leclerc, the final gap was not huge. Let's see what it was, but he immediately took off. Yeah, it was pretty big. It was about almost 8 seconds was the gap at the end there. So he took off. So he clearly had the...
But while fighting each other, they lost time to Verstappen, who had clean air.
Right. Yeah, because Lando finished 8 seconds behind Verstappen as well. Chris, I heard your mic out there. What's going on?
It's just chaos in the paddock. That's all it was. So that was a load of marshals actually leaving and seeing some friends and saying they'll see them in Vegas. So we've got some track workers, I think, that are at this race. That their next job will be in the other US race that we've still got to come, when we'll have the start of the final triple header to see out the season. And who knows what the championship picture will look like then. But yeah, when they said see you in Vegas, I was like, hey, that's miles away yet. We've still got Mexico and Brazil to go.
Yeah, we see a lot of that, Jonathan. We saw some on the shuttle. I call it the shuttle. The ride we got back up yesterday with some of the marshals and track workers.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see where they come from. And you're right. There's a lot of folks that do quite a few events, different roles they play, but it's a small community, mainly SCCA guys who literally give up their regular weekend motor racing job and come and do a Formula One event. Why not? Plus the expertise is there as well.
Right.
I think we talked about the biggest gainer being Lance Stroll. I think the biggest position loser was Antonelli.
Yeah. Which is a shame because he didn't, he had some problems leading to the race.
But he had some momentum coming into this weekend. So.
It wasn't, compared to Russell, it wasn't as good a weekend, that's for sure, for Antonelli. But it wasn't a bad one either. And I think Mercedes, again, I was talking to Chris about this, could both Mercedes and Hamilton and Leclerc in Ferrari be a problem for this now three-way fight for the title?
All right, well, we're Speed City Broadcasting. We're out at Circuit of the Americas for a post-race show for the United States Grand Prix, and we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back right after these messages. All right, I'm going to go see if I can get back on YouTube. It didn't work a while ago because the internet tubes have been broken for me. So let's see if we can get there. Hey, it's starting to work. Let me get over there. Live post-race show.
I've got it now.
You got it now, too.
Great job at the weekend, y'all. So great hearing the local crew on the PA. Good luck to everyone's commute home from the track. Well, thank you.
That's Jesse Mesa. He hadn't been on in a while.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Jesse. He's
Yep.
been on before.
Can we get Hobbs and Matchett to come on Cota next year?
There you go.
Yeah, get Hobbo and Steve. There you go. George is already in street clothes.
Yeah. Todd Dauber's here. Good to hear the Dutch anthem again. Joe of Oyster Bay worldwide on YouTube. That's right. He said, Joe says, it wasn't a good showcase for the new Mercedes contracts. Yeah, it's like we were just saying, Antonelli. Although George, you know, he had a decent showing, fourth today, and was it fourth today? No, that's the driver's standing. Sorry, did that again. Sixth today. I knew that wasn't right. Yeah,
behind sixth.
Yeah, behind Oscar. All right, anybody else on YouTube? You switch back over. All right, we touched on everybody here. Let's see, what else can we get to here? You guys get the behind-the-scenes looks during the breaks, in case you haven't joined us.
That's right.
We're in the giant booth. We're in booth number 2. We have booth number 1 for the PA, which is big. Mm-hmm. Booth number 2 for the radio, which is next door. I literally ran a cable in the wall between the booths.
I heard you. Thought we had mice.
Yeah, that was me running a cable between the 2 booths. And we're in booth 2. I can't quite touch the walls like I could in Miami.
I was just wondering, could I lie down on this floor and not damage it?
All right, here we go. Coming back.
Hi, this is Karun Chandok, and you're listening to Speed City.
Welcome back to the fastest hour in radio, Speed City.
We are live at Circuit of the Americas, and we're in the post-race mode here in the booth. The same place we've been since 2012 this time of the year. And so this is a familiar spot for all of us. And Jonathan and I have been on every one of those. Bob, you've been on most of those. And Chris, you've got a nice little run with us here of all these too. Karun Chandok brought us back. Jonathan, you are, in fact, you kind of got Karun his starting
I got him his break,
broadcasting.
yeah, in many ways. And I did what I'm doing actually now with some of the younger drivers here in the States, is that when he was a Formula 3 up-and-coming driver...
He's not that young anymore, so if you do the math... No, go ahead.
I met Karun Chandok when he was a 10-year-old, and I can remember the day because he was wearing a Kevin Schwantz T-shirt.
Wow.
And he kept nagging me to do things, and he was like, he really wanted to be involved in the TV production. His dad was an FIA.
At 10.
Yeah, his dad was running the events and was the FIA delegate for India for many years. Vicky Chandok, a lovely fellow, and so I've known the Chandoks since he was a small boy in shorts, quite literally, and I followed his career and did quite a lot of video work for Indian television, following him in Formula 3 all the way up to Formula 1. And yes, he was a commentator with me on his during his informative years. And yeah, I'm very proud of what he's achieved. And he is very, very good. And it was great to actually do him a favor and get, we keep talking about him, but Jay Leno on the SkyPad, which was seen all over the world because I got messages from New Zealand and everywhere else. And so, yeah, really happy weekend for me.
That's great. Well, I want to jump into the Constructors' Championship now because McLaren's got that all wrapped up, virtually doubling Mercedes right now. They at 678, 341, and that's official. They've already won the championship. But behind them is Mercedes and Ferrari. Mercedes with 341, Ferrari with 334. And right behind them is Red Bull at 331. I mean, we have those those 3 teams separated by only 10 points. Okay, Chris Medland, Mr. Prognosticator, who has predicted the resurgence by Max. What's going to happen with these? Who's going to get second place in the Constructors' Championship?
Cool. Based on the form I'm seeing, I'm going to go with Mercedes, but only just. I think for Red Bull, I've just not seen enough consistency from Sonoda. Did well today. I tried to get a word with him though, and the team don't really want him chatting too much, it turns out. So he's gone into the hospitality already. But I just feel like with Ferrari, it's been a bit up and down. I feel like Mercedes, as much as this wasn't a great weekend, Antonelli would have scored solid points without that contact with Sainz. The car was good enough. So I'm going to go Mercedes getting over the line.
Okay.
Very interesting. And of course, after those guys, right now Williams is in fifth position with 111 points, and followed by Racing Bulls with 72. So it's Williams right now, kind of in the middle there. Although Racing Bulls close enough, but 6, 7, and 8. That's Racing Bulls, Aston Martin, and Sauber. 72, 69, and 59.
That's
so
cool.
That position is completely up for grabs.
That's
and I'm going to go
very
to
cool.
you, Bob. Who's going to win that battle?
Williams.
Well, no, the ones behind Williams. Actually, I was talking about the guys that
your
are.
choice is Racing Bulls, Aston Martin, or Kick Sauber.
But I don't want to
And
pick.
Haas.
I would say Racing Bulls.
And Haas is only 11 points south of Sauber, so they could, with a good weekend.
Yep.
Chris has been saying it all year. Is that one good weekend and any of these guys in these tight battles like that, and Alpine pretty far back in 10th. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I was going to say definitely on this. If you look at Sainz's result yesterday, up 6 points just for third in a sprint. Now, that could easily be picked up by someone else in a wet race in Brazil, for example, or look at what Alpine did in Brazil when it rained last year. Second and third out of nowhere. So the one thing I remember someone from Haas saying last year when that happened is it's never us. It's always another team. They've not had a podium yet in their history, Haas. So that frustrates them a little bit that it's just never quite landed, or they've not pulled it off when the podium results are available. But they've had top fives, top sixes. So I wouldn't rule any of those out. But I go with Bob on Racing Bulls. I think generally, again, the more consistently competitive car, or is in the mix more often at more circuits. Let's put it that way. But yeah, it's the fight for second I'm really excited about. And I will admit, I'm doing my normal waffling and talking about that segue because I've got Fred Vasseur in my eye line, and I'm told he would love to speak to us today. Love might be a slight exaggeration, but he is willing to speak to me today.
Yeah, that sounds closer to the mark.
Yeah. Even that, I think, is being too generous, wasn't it, to be honest? But,
I think
he would tolerate
Bob
speaking to me today.
He just made a jokey.
I think he just dissed you, Mr. Medland.
No, not at all.
I mean, it's about time, isn't it? I mean, how many times do I interrupt Bob?
To be fair, he owes you a few.
He does more than a few. I mean, there's plenty of punches he can land for my grid antics. But it's just the nature of the beast here. You've got to grab people when they're available.
Absolutely. I'm 100% behind you on that.
Chris, his facial expression said otherwise. No, let me give you the opportunity to interrupt me.
I will interrupt right now because I've got Fred Vasseur right in front of me. And Fred, third and fourth for the two Ferraris today. That looked like a really good recovery after what was quite a tricky Friday.
Yeah, it's a good summary that we had a very tough sprint quali, and we came back. The pace was okay in the sprint race, but we are stuck behind Carlos, I think. But the pace was good, and then we had a good quali, good race today, quite aggressive on the strategy. But it paid off. It went 12 from the beginning to the end, but it's good. It's good for the team, good for Charles, good for Lewis.
Well, this is a track obviously you did so well on last year as well. 1-2 here. Is it a track that still suits this car? It's a different car compared to last year, or did you just execute better?
No, it's a different car, but it's a quite complete one with a low speed section, very high speed section, quite bumpy, and so that. But I think that honestly, that on the weekend like this, it's more to get the best from the tires than something else. And we struggled a little bit on this on Friday, and we had a good recovery for the rest of the week.
How pleased are you to see the way the team recovered? Because we've seen certain weekends not go well, and all the focus Ferrari has on it, it can look really tough to turn that around. But you did that under pressure this weekend.
Yeah, and now I don't know that we have 3 teams in 10 points or something like this. Still 5 races to go. 5 or 6, I don't know.
2 sprints in there as well.
And it means that a lot of points on the table, and we can score with 2 cars, that we can do good results, that we can fight for the pole. Let's fight until the end. For sure that the fact that we switched very early on the 2026 car, it's a challenge. Psychologically also, because you know that you won't bring upgrade until the end of the season, and for the motivation of everybody, it's a challenge. But honestly, today we have to build up the rest of the season on today and to take it as a good start.
Well, who's your biggest threat then for that P2? Is it Mercedes, who are 7 points ahead of you, or Red Bull with Max's form?
No, let's be focused on ourselves to try to do our job to avoid any mistakes, to put everything together from the beginning of the weekend. And we'll see at the end. I'm more focused on myself than on the others.
Well, you won at Mexico last year as well. Can you do that next weekend?
Let's try again.
Thank you, Fred.
Fred, sounds like you guys got a great relationship, Chris. That's fantastic.
Well, I think we were slightly helped with that one. He was in a good mood anyway, and that was a nice laugh, and we do get on well. But there was a big Netflix mic over the top of that as well. So I think he was aware that anything he'd said might go on Netflix if he's not careful. So that was the same actually with Zach Brown yesterday. We're getting all the Netflix attention this weekend. So Drive to Survive 2026, you might get a few Speed City logos on it.
There you go.
There you go. You've done that for us before, Chris.
No wonder Stefano's saying hello in the morning.
Yeah, that was so
weird.
totally surreal. Chris, we were walking in. We were walking in this morning, and the paddock was very quiet because there weren't that many people. Stefano Domenicali, the F1 CEO, was walking in front of us. He turned around and he stopped and he changed direction and walked over to the three of us,
Shook each of our hands,
and like he knew us, and we were all kind of like, "Oh, hi, great to meet you." I think I said, "Hi, boss," or something like that.
I said, "Hi, I'm Chris Medland."
But he stayed.
Well, even after saying Chris Medland. Wow, that is a I mean, that's one way of doing it, calling him boss as the guy that kind of runs things in this paddock.
That is the boss, because we were all gobsmacked at the fact that he was in jeans and a shirt.
Yeah, and tennis shoes, and just he's always very dapper.
Yeah.
But
he
really
normally is. I mean, he might maybe he was coming in just to quickly change and get ready for any other demands on his time today. But I'm lining up another boss right now.
Demands.
Hey, Chris.
Hold on, he's lining up.
Yeah, I'm lining up another boss, but a different boss. So I'm just going to have to see if I can get hold of this boss. He's smiling at me, but I don't know if he's going to talk to me while we're live across North America. We're going to talk positive things, Bobby. I've got Bobby Epstein, the COTA chairman, right in front of me. Only positive things. You've just had a huge crowd, another brilliant event, and you've announced an 8-year contract extension till 2034. Pretty good weekend for you, surely.
Yeah, great weekend. And we're excited. I don't think we never had a doubt that we both wanted to get the contract done. And so it was just a matter of sitting down and working through everything and finding ways to do things even better than we're doing. And that's what we always try and do. So moving forward, I hope this year's crowd was great. Next year's crowd, maybe even better, and get some new roads, and maybe we can grow even a little bit more. I think it's the largest sporting event, a single weekend sporting event in the world right now. So we got to keep building on that.
Well, I think some people say the new roads would be great to see, but it's because so many people want to come here to this race. Do you know what the attendance was this weekend yet?
Not yet, no. Actually, I haven't checked since Friday afternoon when we looked like we were overwhelmed, and I said we had still room, so it was good.
Oh, yeah, it's been a huge crowd all weekend. Now, you mentioned, do some things better in future. What's on the cards for COTA then with the new 8-year deal to, I guess, give you that certainty that you can invest in some other areas?
Yeah, well, some of the things for F1, I mean, they would like us to expand the paddock club. We've got to build some more garages because I think there's another team or two coming onto the grid. So those kind of improvements we have to make. And then fan zones, we're making some fan areas larger, improving that. We're putting in the amusement park. It'll be open next year to give people more things to do. 36 hours of programming with your ticket this year. And we want to make sure everybody feels like they got a lot of value for their dollar.
Well, we've just had Nico Hulkenberg on the show talking about how much he loves coming here, both for Austin the City, but this event too. I think I've seen some plans you've got for the outside of Turn 1 as well.
Yeah, I think the new we're going to put a new clubhouse at the top of Turn 1. Got a little inventive and connect it with a aerial gondola to the main paddock building, and drivers that can join the club. And when they're ready to take their car for a spin, they take the tram down. It's a 3-minute and 20-second ride, and then their friends and family that are hanging out in the clubhouse have a spectacular view. You know, you can see about, I don't know, more than 10 turns from that spot probably, and a great view of town, and it should be a fun place.
Well, just finally, got to look at the bigger picture here. You believed in this project. You've been a champion of Formula One in the US and COTA for a long time. It wasn't always easy. Since 2012, it hasn't always been 450,000 people coming through the gates each time. How proud are you of what you've built here for the city of Austin and for the United States Grand Prix?
Yeah, well, we always knew that the people of Austin are very welcoming and a fun, hospitable town. And it was just a matter of getting people here to see it. And so it feels good to be sort of validated on what we thought, which is let's build it. People come and they'll find out that we do things okay here and they'll want to come back. And that's what's happening, to see it build on itself. And then it kind of snowballed. And when we brought in Taylor Swift in 2016, a lot of people criticized us and said we're focusing too much on things away from the cars. but I think we took nothing away from the racing. You still have a spectacular track. We did nothing to compromise that, but just try and give people more entertainment, and it's just grown from there.
Well, as you said, American team next year as well for some added interest. Could you hit 500,000 fans coming through the gates?
We got to get a new road.
All right, well, we look forward to seeing that happen. Bobby, well done this weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, that was fantastic, Chris.
Fantastic. And you can see that Bobby is now going into political mode, i.e. that is a message to the Austin Council and Travis County that we need more roads.
I'm going to talk all about that, but we've got to take a break because I have been writing a list down of all the things that are about to happen to Circuit of the Americas, not including anything Bobby just said. So we'll talk about all of that right after this break. All right, run with it, guys. I'm texting Bobby real quick.
And Chris, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can indeed.
Okay, while we're on the break, I've got a good question here from Derek McCord, 3798. He says, Chris, have you heard from Dan Towers on when they're going to start to run the Ferrari TPC car? Would it be during the end of the year at Yas Marina?
No. I have heard what's happening there. Actually, not from Dan Towers on that one, but from Pat Simmons. So we actually we have an interview in the can, but I don't think we're going to have time on today's show to run it. It'll be one for Wheel to Wheel in midweek. But I caught up with Pat before this weekend for an update on how the technical side of things are going at Cadillac. And I asked about that TPC, and it's that they've been allowed to take their race team to TPC tests that Ferrari are already doing, and they've done one already, and they're going to do another one next month. I believe it will be in Italy, actually. And it lets them just have their race team around it, working together, learning how systems work, because, things like the fuel system and how that's all connected and used, and how pit stops are done in terms of some of the equipment, is going to be crossing over as a Ferrari customer, but they can't run the whole car themselves or put the driver in the car themselves as it stands. I think there's a chance you'll see Checo Perez at some point driving an older car that they might get through the Ferrari Course Clienti program, trying to get a bit of track time. But again, that would have to be run by Ferrari, by Ferrari's Course Clienti. It'll be a much older car in order to do that. So it's not, as I'm aware, it's not going to be a TPC run by Cadillac anymore, which was something they were looking at doing. But they feel pretty good. They've got that whole race team together already. They've been able to do certain practice work back at the factory, back in Silverstone as well, simulate certain things, and then learn from Ferrari at other TPC events.
Nice. That's some content you don't get everywhere. All right, here we go. Coming back.
Hi, this is Gene Haas, and this is Speed City.
Welcome back to the fastest hour in radio, Speed City.
Thank you, Mr. Haas, for bringing us back. So I cut you guys off because I wanted to talk about an extension of what Bobby Epstein just told us about all the things that are happening at COTA. But I have a list of things that are happening right now. Jonathan, when in 2010, when COTA was announced, and before any ground was broken, before a shovel was turned, as they say, they talked about all the things that could happen around here, hotels and developments of commercial and residential and all the things.
Yeah.
And none of that happened for a long time. It started to trickle in.
Yep.
But right now, the scales have just tipped.
I agree.
In this last year. Let me run down this list. So starting with the obvious is COTA Land, that Bobby didn't really talk a whole lot about. The roller coaster's up and running. That's going to
open next year, he said.
Yeah, open in 2026 is what I wrote down. And then the other big, huge news. Well, wait, let me stick with what's happened. So T11 condos,
Yep.
The garage condominium complex within the grounds here, T11, they're really amazing condos. Those are super special on site across the street. Garages of the Americas is a big condo complex. You may not have even heard of that one. It's not on the grounds, but it's literally across the street from T11, right up on top of the hill there.
And a bunch of apartments right next door.
Next door to it, the apartments, those are going to open probably this year. They look like they're ready to open. That's next door to GOTA, Garages of the Americas. And then about 3 months ago, the Austin City Council announced that they were going to put a convention center on the grounds here at Circuit of the Americas, along with a 1,000-room hotel
Wow.
To go along, and I'm sure that'll have a nice restaurant. Bobby's going to have a nice restaurant here coming in as part of the Go to Land.
Yep, and a merchandise store.
Better have a casino if they're going to build 1,000 hotel rooms.
Yeah. The other thing is we talked about the housing development that's up on the north side at KB Homes, I think it is. It's already open. They've got model homes. I mean, and that's a big housing development.
Yep.
So all of that, these things happened within the last 18 months, let's say. And none of them launched yet, but the news at least. And so the momentum out here is staggering, really.
It has been really impressive, hasn't it? I've come here in a lucky way every year, and you see a step that way. You see, you go away from it, and then you see progress over 12 months. And it is stunning what happens around this place. When Bobby says there about we need to get a new road in, I believe that in 12 months' time, I'll be driving down a new road to get to this track.
Absolutely.
The speed that everything happens at.
Yeah, Elroy Road on the north side, Chris. You remember what that road used to be? I have a video somewhere of me driving down that road because they were talking about maybe expanding it. And it was, first of all, the road was so awful because the soils around here are so terrible that you get undulations and bumps. You talk about the bumps on the track. Well, that's where it comes from.
Yeah, exactly.
That road was a barely two-lane, no shoulder road. Mm-hmm. And now it's, 6 lanes wide and with shoulders and, and the road that went out north, Kellum, I think.
You talked about the tipping point, which has happened this year, no question.
Yes.
But what's interesting is if you live here in Austin and you know the geography here, there is only one, and this is the fastest growing city, or one of the fastest growing cities in America. Elon Musk has just built his huge plant over there. Obviously, all the tech companies are here. It's growing exponentially, but there's only one way to grow because the hill country west of town and Mopac
that's it.
Is full. And it is all the
one
wealthy
direction.
houses. Yep. There's no more room to build there. So all the expansion has to be east, and therefore the timing is fantastic for COTA.
Well, and the reason that this even exists is because Bobby Epstein was counting on what you just said way back in 2006.
It was going to be a housing development. That
That's
was
right.
his plan.
He was going to turn this all into rooftops out here, and Tavo Hellman had a twinkle in his eye and approached Bobby and said, hey, this looks like a nice spot for a Formula One track.
And in fact, one of the reasons it's taken so long is that Bobby was able to get gas and water here as part
all
of
the
his,
utilities that
all
they
the
got.
utilities for his housing project, way ahead of the city of Elroy or this area, and therefore that's why progress has been slow in housing and development. Now, though, it's going through the roof.
When are we going to do the documentary or the book, John?
I'm ready.
We've been here since the...
Bob's going to voice it. It's going to be great.
Yeah, and Bob's been here too. So, Chris, I hear lots of fun happening all around you. What's going on?
I'm just finding out how written media trump radio because everyone's been late and I'm missing out on the interviews. No, I'm joking. I'm next to I'm next to the Mercedes press officer or head of comms actually now, who's looking after Toto Wolff. And I was just trying to eye him up, being like, "Can I speak to Toto?" And he was like, "No chance. We are way too late for media." The same's happened with Andrea Stella down at McLaren. So for both of them, I've had potentially we can speak to them later in the show, which is why I've come back to them now. And now they are heavily delayed with where they're meant to be. So I am floating between McLaren and Mercedes to see if we can get either. I'm not certain we will get either, but I'll do my best. It does mean,
Chris,
if anyone is listening and actually at COTA and can see in the paddock, all they'll see is me doing about 50-meter shuttles up and down the paddock and thinking that I look lost all the time.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, if you get captured by the Lost and fan now, we'll come get you out.
Yeah, if anybody's got one of the radios on going, what is wrong with that guy? Chris, I want to play the Jay Leno clip because he has lots of...
Who?
Stop it.
I haven't heard this name this weekend.
Oh, my gosh. Y'all are never going to let me live it down.
No, we're not.
You've kept it quiet, haven't you?
Hi, this is Jay Leno from JayLenosGarage.com, and you're listening to Speed City.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Jay. So, Chris, it's 2 minutes long. Should we try to get it in now or not?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, well, Casey, I'm sure he is. He's ready because we had Jay Leno as our guest all day on Friday, and we had him in the booth, and he had lots of fun things to say. No, sorry, Casey. The 2 minute where he's talking about McLaren and driving around Circuit of the Americas and all that. So, all right. So Casey's got it. So let's hear from Jay Leno.
Who have you met of the Formula One field? Presumably Lewis is...
Oh, a bunch. I know Zach. Yeah. I've been involved with McLaren, the road cars. I bought one of the very first cars when they came out. I went to Woking to get it. And it was just so... It's just so funny to see. Ron Dennis is running the company then.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've got this beautiful facility. Have you been to McLaren and Woking?
Sure.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. And he, as I'm walking, I guess the beautiful floor, he goes, no, come here. He takes me over a corner and he shows me one cracked tie. And he goes, that is going to be changed.
Yeah.
That will be changed by the next time you get it. I said, I didn't even notice it. No, that'll be. He was so adamant.
Yeah.
I said, one, I mean, it really, it's like, I didn't even notice. I couldn't see where the crack was.
The rumor was that Ron was so fussy about those floors that he bankrupted 2 tile-laying firms before he got the floors.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Yeah, he was very, very particular about his cleanliness and...
Oh, yeah, and no waste paper baskets because there's no trash. Right, yeah. It was fascinating.
You don't want any wandering technical documents either. But they had uniformed, lab-coated people going around with clean rackets.
Hugo Boss shifts.
Right, so they could just clean up and it'll spill.
Even the janitors, Hugo Boss. I did this on a motorcycle with Kevin Schwantz. We were testing Suzukis. And I'm coming down and look at the speedometer. It says 165. And I go, there's a turn up there. I put gone around the corner at 165 on a motorcycle. I just can't. I just killed. I got around. It's okay. That's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive on a motorcycle, this track. And of course, MotoGP come here.
It's unbelievable.
Just crazy. My thanks to both Bob Varsha, Jon Massengale, and of course, Jay Leno for coming in. Thank you very much.
Help me, guys. This has really been exciting.
This was Jay's first trip to a Formula One race. How cool is that we got to help him do that? Chris, I'm just checking in. Make sure you're not waiting with somebody.
I'm not actually. I've just watched Lormekis go the other way down the paddock. I can tell you why. Well, I think I know why. It's because Red Bull have been summoned to the stewards for potentially breaching the International Sporting Code, which was to do with an incident on the grid with not following an official's instructions. Now, that's the sort of thing, without them giving us details, that would normally be a kind of financial penalty or not a non-sporting penalty. But whatever it was, clearly the FIA were not happy with somebody not doing what an official was telling them to do. So we've got a power play going on in race control, and I think that's where Laurent's just gone down to either hear or see what's going on with that one.
Yeah, so dollars not racing points or changing of positions or anything like that. So that's good.
Usually not. But I'll tell you what, I said that next to one of the exec comms directors from Red Bull, who's actually Madeleine Coe, who is Lord Coe's daughter, Seb Coe, that is. And she was just stood there. She saw me kind of just about to start talking, having looked at Laurent, and stood listening to me. And when I finished talking, she went, "Interesting. You've just told me more than I knew." So the team still don't know what it's actually all about.
Oh, that's great.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to finish up on Jay Leno.
Oh God.
I was just saying that it was amazing to be able to host him for his very first Formula One race. And Jay
Tell us about it, John.
He said, well, just because I got to pick him up at his hotel and take him back, just because, anyway, he said he would give us some more time to talk about that because he really did have to rush out because he was doing a stand-up show over at the ACL Live Moody Fest, whatever. The names are all the same now, right? It's not the big Moody Theater. It's the original ACL Live. So anyway, that's where he was doing his stand-up. So, and he had to rush off.
It's a great auditorium.
It's fantastic. One of the best.
Sorry to interrupt, but John, can I just check? Who's this we're talking about again?
Touche.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Let me check my text. It was Jay, but no, that wasn't Jay. Sorry.
Text anywhere on the internet.
Well, to be fair, it is filtering down. Joe from Oyster Bay says, "How did John wrangle all the talent for the show? Pretty impressive."
Thank you, Joe. I have no idea. Y'all didn't realize I was a Jedi. That's the only thing I can figure out.
By the way, another one of our regulars, Kevin Kelly, says, "Tell Bobby more shade is needed, lots more."
I knew he would get that out. He texted me that, and I forgot to tell him. But yes,
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's true, no doubt.
It's a tough one for them, though, isn't it? I've seen some bits of covering they put on the outside of turn 19. I was talking to a fan who was there yesterday, and said that without that it would have been terrible, but it was good. Except as the sun set, then it gets low enough because you're raised above the racetrack.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it's your face. So you can't actually avoid it at certain points with the timing of the race. And that one is not Bobby's fault. That one is F1's fault, thinking this is the best time to have it for TV and then to keep fans in to go and watch a concert, which I believe there's one going on right now, actually.
Oh, yeah.
What is it, Greenie? Is it the
Kygo?
Kygo,
yeah.
Kygo.
No, Kygo was Friday.
Can I go?
Kygo was Thursday night or Friday.
I was going to say,
Friday
he doesn't know.
It's the something troubadour.
So,
is it Ronnie and the Roubette?
It's the what was the first
Turnpike?
It's the Turnpike Troubadours.
It's Jay Leno.
Who's on first?
All right, we're going to take a break to compose.
We need one.
Compose ourselves, and we'll be back right after this.
Oyster Bay also says. Thank you. Yeah, Joe from Oyster Bay also said, sounded like Bobby was lobbying the state for a new road, and I think he definitely was.
Tell you what, they pay attention to Bobby now because the economic impact from this weekend alone, $500 million.
Well, think about the police involved in wrangling the teams and drivers into the circuit and leaving every night. Think about the crowd control of the traffic.
I mean, just the police cost our escort must cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Our escort to get out of here in just a few minutes, right?
Sure. Well, we're going helicopter, aren't we?
Oh, that's right. I
think
it was
Alamo helicopters.
I think all the helicopters were taken. We're going to take a blimp.
You can all go to hell, and I'll jump on an Alamo.
So I could tell you on Saturday morning or Friday night, there was still a helicopter available for Sunday night flying out back to downtown. For 5 people, can you hazard a guess at the cost?
$25,000.
Oh, no, you could have bought this. Don't go that low.
Go on then, $10,000.
Wow. $10,000, yeah. So $2,000 a pop for each person.
That's just say, well, you want to fly it back empty or do it for $500?
Yeah, I have a new friend who texted me, Bob, and I told you, he took a helicopter in, and I said, he called me. And we were in a break earlier today, and I said, man, you guys took a helicopter? He goes, no, I just took a picture of one and sent it to you because I thought it was cool. I was like, well, I didn't know him that well, and I know he's...
How much did that cost?
I knew he's a successful guy. I didn't know how successful, but anyway. Yeah, they were all hanging out over in Goda across the street.
I'll let you know if anything comes up on the YouTubables, but we are coming back fairly soon.
Yes, sir. Was that Casey?
15.
I was just... All right,
Wow.
10 seconds.
Change
9,
your mind.
8, 7.
Oh,
these new hats
come
that Bobby
straight
gave
to
us.
me because I might get Toto.
Okay.
Hi, this is Max Verstappen, and you're listening to Speed City.
Welcome back to the fastest hour in radio, Speed City.
I actually love this song. I've actually played it. I've downloaded it and played it. It's an earworm. Is that what they call it when you hear one?
Max Verstappen, the man that brought techno to Formula One, and it never left.
I kind of like techno.
God!
Should I admit that in public?
No, please.
No, please go back to your.
I don't really have any, but I do kind of like it.
Carry on talking about your favorite comedians.
No. All right, we got to give some love to anybody that we missed running down the orders today because we focused a lot on the front. We talked about Alonso getting a point, Liam Lawson with a good weekend, Lance Stroll the biggest gainer, Antonelli the biggest loser, I think it was. Yeah.
I feel a bit harsh on Antonelli that one. I was just trying to actually line up Toto Wolff, but just missed him. But I felt that Antonelli doesn't deserve. I know what you mean by biggest loser in terms of positions. But I don't think that was really his doing. Actually, I'll keep an eye on the penalties because Carlos Sainz I saw walking back to the Williams hospitality, which means he's been to the stewards for that incident. They said they would look at it after the race, didn't they? So we'll have to see if it does lead to anything else. Might go and be a bit rude here and just stick my head in McLaren. So I wanted the word of Andrea Stella, but I just don't know if I'll get it. They're having a bit of a conference, so I just need to put myself in view to see if I can get a word. Actually. Well, he's having
sounds horribly boring.
Brown. Yeah, no. Well, deep in conversation, shall we say? So we've got Zach Brown.
Who's in deep conversation?
Zach.
Zach.
Two heads of McLaren.
Fair enough.
Along with
Chris,
communications
knives
team,
at the door.
admittedly.
Chris, I don't want to see any extra invoices for the 28 minutes of North American broadcast play-by-play that we did. Apparently, Chris, there was a complete meltdown technology-wise, and so instead of carrying the BBC, they carried you guys, the three of y'all. There was no fourth microphone. I don't know what happened to mine, but anyway, y'all were carrying the torch. Jay Leno took it, Casey said.
We were all in on this, mate.
Oh, yeah.
You've done it now.
But that was cool.
Even if he gets a penalty, I felt for Carlos Sainz.
Oh, of course.
He's had his share of bad luck.
Yeah,
and he was, once again, competitive this weekend.
Yeah. Very competitive, yeah.
Hey, two weekends in a row with podiums. I know one was a sprint this weekend, but
No. It's relevant.
Gabriele Bortoletto fighting
he did do
for a
very
job.
well, it must be said. I was going to say, though, actually,
too.
I'm oh, sorry, John. I was going to say, I'm not going to complain or invoice because I'm the one who's always having technical meltdowns, aren't I, running around on the grid, and you guys just suddenly hear my voice disappear. So there's no way I can really complain at one race where that happens.
Casey, our producer extraordinaire, by the way, a phenomenal job this weekend, Casey.
Yes.
He bailed me out with a huge Google Doc because we're live on local radio. A self-applause there.
Self-applause.
Self-praise.
National radio, local radio, and the PA, 2 booths, dogs and cats living together, and Casey wrote it all up in a document for me, and but fantastic. I was going somewhere else with that, but thank you, Casey. It was brilliant job. Couldn't do it without you.
I am going to grab a word, I think, with Andreas Stella. The team.
Great.
It's going to be a short one. He wants it to be short. It was agreed. I'm being told. Yeah, Luke's been naughty. I'm never naughty, Andrea. I will always be nice. I'll keep it short for you, though. But we're in the McLaren hospitality with McLaren team principal Andrea Stella, who thought his work was done. And I can understand that feeling when you think you can go and relax. Well, actually, I'm going to ask you first, Andrea. What would you have to go and do next in this role? Because when we go off air, viewers and listeners don't understand what else the team's doing. Where would you be going next?
Myself, you mean? As I jumped off the pit wall, it was very much about media interviews. But there's also one step that I always want to make sure I'm not missing, which is go and thank each and every one of the team members for the work they've done, which is always incredibly professional and high standards, committed. So you always want to make sure that this is not acknowledged by me, but by me on behalf of the rest of the team. So that's what you do. Then
Nice.
Normally you try to chill out a bit after you have done the media session now, but then there may be some people coming for a final interview, and
How rude of them.
not rude at all.
And then next, do you go and speak to the team again? Do you just get out of here? Is there more meetings, debriefs?
Yeah, now I will go in the engineering office to go through some conversations with the engineers, see what we have learned. We normally have the debrief, and there's an extensive debrief after a race. We either have it straight after the race or we have it on a Monday morning. This depends a bit on the travel schedule and this kind of opportunities. But definitely you debrief extensively the drivers, go through their checklist, reporting from a performance point of view, from a driving point of view, from an operational point of view, pit stop, and then all the engineers for their area of competence, they report what we have learned, the anomalies, the faults, and what is important for the longer term and what is important for the next race.
Well, what will that debrief look like from your point of view then? Lando Norris second today behind Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri fifth, and not really making any progress after the first couple of corners.
Well, after a sprint race in which we scored no points, it was important today, first of all, to score points. So Lando on the podium is a strong scoring with Oscar. I think we just missed the pace. Just talking very honestly, we missed a couple of tenths in qualifying, and I think this continued in the race. We think we understand why that is. We're not too worried. I'm sure Oscar will be back on pace in Mexico. Obviously, we go racing to win races. It's reassuring that we had the pace, I think, today to fight with Max for the victory. But because of losing the position at the start, our pace has been pretty much Leclerc's pace with Lando throughout the race. So we just lost too much from Max, and we also needed to overtake Leclerc twice during the race. So I think overall, not the result we wanted, because we want to win races, but a decent result and some promising indications for the final 6 races.
Well, 5 races now to go with 2 sprints in there.
5. Did I say 6?
You did.
Okay, 5.
You're one step closer to winning that Drivers' Championship, but Max Verstappen is 15 points closer, 40 points back from Oscar. Are you enjoying it, or are you nervous?
I'm enjoying it. For me, it is very clear that having a tense, tight fight with Max Verstappen to win a championship is what Formula One is about. If anything, it was anomalous that we were in a position in which it seemed like it's an easy ride for both McLaren drivers. That was anomalous. And as soon as we realized that Red Bull had improved their car, we immediately shifted towards like, it's going to be tense, it's going to be tight. So we'd rather adopt this mindset, which is what we have done. And our focusing on one race at a time. One race at a time. There's a lot that we can do, and which is entirely under our control. That's what we will be doing for the next 5 races. And I think if we do so, I think if we keep doing a good work, then the results will take care of themselves, and it will be a positive result for McLaren.
Well, I must admit, we're enjoying watching it too. Andrea, thank you so much for your time. I'll let you go and do the debrief now.
Thank you.
Great interview. I just want to round up. I know we're running out of time, but John, you mentioned all the changes here at Coda and the tipping point, effectively, from Coda's point of view. They've just extended their contract, and I'm going to make a prediction here and now. We are going to get an American driver from Texas on the Formula One grid before that extension is over. We've got Jack Crawford waiting in the wings. We just had Cooper Shipman, 17-year-old from Austin, win F4. And today, Prosper, Texas's Titus Sherlock won the FR Formula Regional Championship. And 3 Texans were 1, 2, and 3. Finally, the picture is complete.
And you know what? You can probably align a lot of this with what's happened here. All these young guys,
well,
like
they all
Cooper,
came to Formula One.
That's right. They all have come here, have seen this, and said, that looks fun. Yep. I want to do that.
Amazing.
Yeah, incredible. I want to just, we got 1 minute left, but Henry Ferguson on YouTube says, who is SCB and how did you guys pull off everything you do? He's like, who are you guys? Yeah. I love that. But thanks, everybody. We're almost out of time. First of all, thanks to everybody in this room. Jonathan Green, Bob Varsha, Chris Medland. You guys are the best and unbelievable what you do. Casey Johns, everybody that's been listening, all you regulars that tune in on YouTube, and everybody in Austin that supports us. Thank you very much for everything. We couldn't do it, and every single little comment makes a big difference in our lives. I know we all love it, but we got about 30. How much we got left, Casey? He's in my. All right, we're done. Thanks, everybody, and of course we'll be back next weekend for Mexico. Thank you all, and we'll talk to you next weekend.
Happy trails.